Hey everyone, Ryan here at Plague Scythe Studios. Welcome back to my top 5. Today's episode was actually requested by quite a few of you guys. Again, we are talking about cabinet impulse responses, but not those already found within someone's little black box. We are talking about freebies, and some that I still use today, some that I think pair really well with amp modeling hardware, some that you might have to make a few tweaks to, and a lot of these go really well with some of the freeware we've talked about in the past that can kind of enhance the sound of an okay sounding plugin because maybe they have some baked in power amp sound or some really good microphone combinations. Whatever the case is, we're going to be talking about my top 5 favorite free IR packs. Of course, I take 0 credit for the creation of these impulse response packs. For that reason, I'll be pointing you to the source if it's available, which it is for most of these, but I'm fairly certain a couple of these that you're just not going to find them anymore. There might be a dead link on a forum somewhere. If that's the case, I will rehost them personally. But again, all credit goes to those who originally made them. So with that, let's get started. My top 5 favorite free IR packs. These first couple of packs are from some fairly big players in the IR creation space, and I think these are kind of the gateway drugs to a lot of the premium packs, and kind of gives you a taste of what each company offers, how they generally structure their packs, what kind of cabinets they're using, what you can expect in terms of the sound. So we'll start with Hammer's V60 IR pack, and that is based off of a Mesa Boogie cabinet with 60 watt vintage 30, so that's kind of the more contemporary sound. And these are ones that I played with a lot, especially starting out, because it's one of my favorite cabinets. It's a cabinet I actually have, and because there are so many microphone combinations and there's dozens of flavors of each combination, eventually I think you're going to find something you like. And being this is a kind of a metal-centric YouTube channel, it's a really good cabinet for a lot of heavy metal sounds. I mean, if you kind of want to get somewhere quickly, a dual rectifier or a 5150 through V30s is just a really simple way to go. Not exactly original, but if you're just delving into the finer details of guitar tone and production, this is a really good pack to start with because it is very neutral. They use a neutral power amp as they normally would for capturing all of the impulse responses. And although they retain the bold character of an oversized Mesa Boogie cabinet, they don't color your sound so much to the point that if you dial in your amp sim a certain way, that if you want to change the impulse response down the road, it becomes automatically unusable. That's kind of a problem with a couple we'll be talking about here, but that's not the case with the V60. So even if you've already bought other Hammer stuff, I would definitely recommend check this out. It's a staple cabinet in the world of heavy metal and hard rock in general, and it sounds great with pretty much everything I've thrown at it. Our second pack is a similar offering from Red Wires, another big name in the IR creation space, and they kind of did a similar thing to Hammer where they took one of the first cabinets that they modeled and had for sale, which was a 1960A, and kind of just gave it to everyone for free, which is pretty cool. These use G12 M25s, which is the classic greenback Marshall speaker, and this works really well for more mellow stuff. So even if you're not a metal guy, these are definitely useful if you're into 4x12s, and if you are a metal guy, then it definitely works well for that. I find more of the classic space. I prefer higher wattage speakers like T75s and 60, 70 watt V30s, but these definitely work really well for many applications. Maybe they don't have quite the body of the Hammer, but if that's not what you're looking for, then these are definitely worth checking out. Also, plenty of great microphone combinations, and if you can get the phase alignment to play nicely, they do work pretty well when blended with V30s, but the way it goes between different impulse responses from different companies, the phase alignment's almost all the time out. So you'll have to have some sort of third-party software or something in your convolver to be able to correct that. But if you can get that under control, then you might want to play with blending the two. I really like these IR packs for a couple reasons. Number one, they are very high quality. They model speakers that I think are very usable, and they're all kind of mix-ready sounds. You can get different flavors of each depending on the mix you're going for, and I think they're a good stepping stone into premium stuff if you don't quite know what kind of sounds you're looking for yet. But they still don't give you the full gamut of guitar cab flavors that are out there. And that's what I really, really enjoy about this next cab pack. And this is something made by a fellow content creator named Furby03, I believe. Be sure to link that down in the description. And he modeled an ass ton of cabinets. In fact, let's pull them up now. So we have a really cool thing about this is there's both bass cab IRs and guitar IRs. So if you're needing a decent sounding Ampeg or Orange cabinet sound for bass tracking, they are in here. So we have an SVT 8x10 as well as a 1x15 from Orange. And then for the guitar IRs, there's both 2x12s, including Mesa Sur and Vox variants. And the 4x12s, oh boy. Yeah, that's quite the selection. I dare say that no matter what kind of guitar tone you're going for, you'll find something halfway usable in these. They don't have quite the ridiculous depth of Own Hammer and Redwire impulse response packs where you have 15 combinations of every different mic in slightly different positions, but they're pretty much mix ready. They all sound really high quality. They do mix fairly well if you're into that sort of thing. You got stuff from Bogner, Diesel, Engel, EVH, Friedman, Hughes and Kettner, Marshall, Mesa, PV, Randall, even a Rev cabinet, which is pretty cool, Zilla, and there's different combinations of microphones for all of those. Again, I'm a fan of this pack because, number one, they do work very well, but unlike the previous two, they give you a pretty wide spectrum to, test and tune to see that, hey, I kind of prefer these V30 cabinets. I like the sound signatures of these sort of microphones, and that way you're not so blind if you do down the road decide to purchase premium impulse response packs. Not to say that you can't get good results out of here, but if you are extremely picky and you start eyeing some of the stuff from Own Hammer or Redwires and you do want to, drop $20, $30, whatever, then this is a really good testing ground, I find. And again, if this works for you, there's nothing wrong with loading it in your favorite amp model or two. These IRs were modeled with a neutral 2 power amp, so you do kind of get that baked in desirable speaker response that you would expect from any other 2 power amp. And then once you throw some EQ coloration on top of it, depending on whatever preamp and power amp simulation you're using, I think they work quite well. Packs 4 and 5 are straight up for metal. I'm not even going to pretend that you should be using these for anything, but I'm sure you can get some desirable results. but these are absolutely intended for down-tuned guitars and high-gain amplifiers. So if you aren't interested in that, then you should probably go check out the previous three we talked about, and you can skip the rest of this video. But for those of you that are looking for heavy metal tones, look no further. These next two will provide great examples. So the first of the two, pack number 4, is Excalibur, number 1 and number 2. There's actually a third flavor, but I've used primarily the ones from these two packs. And this is one of those instances of, I don't know where the hell they came from. I've found a couple forum posts referencing it. I can't even find the original forum post as of making this video. Hopefully I will when I'm researching a little bit more after the fact, and I can put it here in this section, but it's kind of lost to time. I first remember seeing references of this around like 2009, 2010, and I've been using them that long, and they sound freaking awesome for many applications. If I remember right, I think they were ripped from a particular German metal album, and at one point maybe I knew. Now I don't. So hopefully I can give the proper credits. Worst case scenario though, please check them out. I will have a download available. They don't necessarily call out what speaker cab it is, nor what microphone combination it is, but they have a couple different variations of dark, bright, and neutral, and you can kind of mix between all of the combinations of each and get usable results that way if you're looking for a particular way that you want the guitar to sit in the mix. The two packs are almost identical. I do prefer two a little more. I think there's a bit more of a high fidelity vibe going on. I don't know if there was a sampling rate difference or whatever the case may be, but I do prefer a lot of the tones from it. Either way, it's a great just chuck it in there and to get you rolling, you know, if you're looking to start a mix, or again, you're just now getting into this whole metal guitar IR thing. These are a great way just to throw something down, to get the ball rolling and concentrate on the bigger picture. And I still jam with these on my AX8 and free stuff as well. And of course, premium plugins, they have served me quite well. I do find that these have kind of a significant baked in speaker response, tube speaker response, to the point that on something like an AX8, you might have to play with the speaker drive or the impedance curve or whatever to mitigate that a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to sound super scooped, super boomy. And of course, this is all dependent on the hardware you're using, but that is something to look out for. You may dial in your amps a little differently than if you were using some of the other impulse responses we talked about earlier. And finally, probably my favorite pack of the bunch, although by no means is this the objectively best out of this selection, the Brohim Mesa 4x12 SM57 V30. Yeah, I got them all. What a name. So this kind of came in one of those big free download things off of probably a forum. I don't even know if it was Guitar Player or whatever. I'll try to find it again. But these are ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous sounding. They're gent in a box is what I really like about them. In fact, I use them to try to get closer to the Meshuggah nothing kind of sound. And they are straight up just a Mesa Boogie oversized cabinet and a single SM57 microphone. And it sounds huge, absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if they ran the power amp of you know, normal tube amplifier, like an actual head, so you get more of that response baked in, or what, but they sound massive. It sounds absolutely crazy for an SM57 tone. Most of the time you're used to, you know, just white noise fizz. It sounds terrible, but there's a lot of dynamics, a lot of frequencies going on in these IRs that one wouldn't normally expect. And what I really love about these is it made a lot of amp sims, especially freeware amp sims, usable for me early on, where you could throw these on in front of like a 5150 or something of that sort, and get the gent sound with your 8-string or drop-tuned 7-string guitar. They also work wonderfully for the whole nu metal, alt metal, industrial sound thing. If you are going for the Korn or the Slipknot or the Static X sound, where there's practically no mids in the guitar and you're just using it as a percussive instrument almost at that point, it nails that wonderfully. And in fact, I'm using them on a cover of a kind of nu metal industrial song for that reason. So whether you're just drop tuning stuff and you want some of that powerful low mids, or you don't want your guitar to be heard at all and you want to take it to the absolute extreme, then they work for that too. But these are among my favorite for being so niche, for being so ridiculous sounding. And these are absolutely the worst about having to tweak whatever you're using differently than you would otherwise, because if I use this on a stock AX8 amp block, it sounds absolutely terrible. But if you dial back the kind of low and high resonance, then it works fairly well. As with all these top fives, I could go on for hours about great impulse response packs, and a good portion of that time stick to free stuff, but these are the ones that I continue to use, ones that I've used in the past for a long time to good results, ones that I can vouch for personally. And yeah, I've got a whole laundry list of other ones that I like quite a bit, but these are the ones that hands down take the cake in terms of what I can recommend and stuff that I've used in videos and that you've heard, and all that good stuff. So if you've got any other suggestions for both my top 5 or other really nice free impulse response packs that I've not already shared, please leave those down below. Love to check them out, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.